Welcome everybody to our first Pathways Off the Plateau webinar. As you know, these are going to be held weekly through February and March and are designed to give you a bite-sized introduction to the business development services and capabilities that are available in the local tech ecosystem here. Some commercial, some provided by public and academic sectors. So we're going to hear from various organizations and people who provide services that you might want to use. Quite selfishly, we've decided for this first one to introduce Sheffield Digital. You'll know us, of course. Some of you are already members. We're delivering this program with funding from DSIT via the UK Tech Cluster Group, of course. However, you may not be aware of the full extent of what we do and how we work, and in particular, not know how to get the best from your engagement with us. So I'm going to describe what we do and then open it up for questions afterwards. To this end, I've invited one of my co-founders and co-directors, Mel Kanarek, who will assist me in explaining things and will join me to answer your questions. As you know, this presentation will be published publicly on our YouTube channel, but the Q&A will not, and neither will any of the conversations in the breakout rooms afterwards. So I'm now going to present what we do and explain it with Mel's help, and then we'll make some suggestions for how companies can get the most from their membership. Who are we? You see at the bottom there, connect, promote, represent. Those are the activities or the way that we frame our activities in the simplest possible way. We're here to connect, promote, and represent, but there's a lot more to what we do than that. We were incorporated in May 2015 as an independent non-profit company limited by guarantee. So we are essentially a social impact company that reinvests whatever profit we make back into the activities we do on behalf of the local ecosystem. We were given seed funding from these 7 organizations back in 2015. Tech North, which is now Tech Nation and doesn't really do what it used to do 10 years ago. Sumo Digital, which was subsequently acquired. Lightworks Design, which was also subsequently acquired by Siemens, and Sky Betting and Gaming, which are no longer active in Sheffield either. But also Sheffield Technology Parks and both of the universities were initial founder members and gave us some seed funding back then to set the organization up. We set up then, and this is still our mission statement today, with the organization for the people and businesses who make up Sheffield's digital industries. Our aim is to help develop the best possible environment for setting up, working in, and growing digital tech and media businesses in Sheffield and in the surrounding region. Our approach focuses on 3 key areas, as I mentioned briefly before: connect, bringing together the people and businesses that are Sheffield's digital industries; promote, shouting about our digital businesses and their capabilities locally, nationally, and internationally; and represent, providing a single powerful voice for the digital community in order to influence policymakers and educators. And so we'll talk about how those 3 approaches have kind of evolved over the last 10 years. So let's look at our services. In practice, our services fall into 7 general categories: news and media, networking, event services, career services, publicity services, policy coordination, and what we call super connecting. And we're going to look at each of those in turn to kind of explain what they mean to us and how we do these things. So firstly, our news service keeps people abreast of what's going on in tech in the city. The primary vehicle for this is our newsletter. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter, please go to the Sheffield Digital website and subscribe. It's published every 2 weeks, and it creates it contains a snapshot of what we know is going on across the ecosystem. So, you know, all of our partners and lots of other organizations, whether they're members or not, will share information with us that we then publish in our newsletter every 2 weeks. So I highly recommend, if you want to keep abreast of what's going on locally, but also across the rest of the region. You know, we often post about things that are going on in other parts of South Yorkshire. Do subscribe to the newsletter. We also write articles and blog posts, including guest posts from members, from partners, from other organizations that we work with. We do podcasts. Usually these are interviews with people in the local ecosystem who are doing interesting things or have an interesting career history. We do event and interview videos. We also publish member and partner spotlights. So these are pages on our website that explain what a particular company or one of our ecosystem partners does. And we also use social media, almost entirely LinkedIn nowadays. We have got a Blue Sky account. We no longer use Twitter. We also have a presence on YouTube and on Instagram. Second thing is networking. So we support community and business networking online and offline. Online, the main vehicle for this is our Slack community. So if you go to Sheffield Digital /Slack, we operate a Slack workspace. There's lots of members. It's free to join. You don't have to be a Sheffield Digital member to join. It's completely open. We do gatekeep it a bit. We don't allow recruiters. We don't allow people who are trying to sell services. So the community is people who work in the tech and digital media industry in Sheffield. In the real world, we do quarterly senior leaders dinners. So one of these every year is a sit-down dinner at the college, where we at Sheffield Plate, where we engage with their T-level students. And the others that we do are usually at the forum now, which are, as the photo here shows, they're stand-up networking events with a buffet, very well attended, really great opportunity to meet lots of other people that run tech companies in the city, as well as our public sector and academic partners. We also do Geek Brekkie every Friday morning at House Street Cafe. So from 9 till about 10:30 every single Friday, there will be people at House Street upstairs. There's a community of people that meet every Friday, and there's always new people. We're always welcoming people. It's there as kind of, if you've just moved to the city, or if you have a question for someone in tech, or if you want some support or some advice, you can always just go to Geek Brekkie and you will find someone who'll be able to help, or will point you towards other things that will help you. And then finally, we do socials. So social events for members, for our mentees, for our meetup organizers. So certain specific communities within the ecosystem, we also run kind of social events for periodically. Next thing is events. So the main thing here is our events calendar. We aggregate events from across the city into a single calendar. These are not events that we run, although some of them might be, but we try and bring together every event that we're aware of, and event organizers tell us when they're running their next events, and we add it to the calendar. So if you want to see what's going on, just go to the Sheffield Digital calendar, or add it to your own calendar so you can see when things are coming up. But we also provide other things around that. So we provide a code of conduct and a mediation service that event organizers can use to keep their events safe for their delegates or their audience or whoever it is. And we also provide meetup support. So we run a series of meetups for meetup organizers, we call meta meetups, to get meetup organizers meeting each other and learning from each other to hold better events. We also provide a meetup support channel on the Slack, so meetup organizers can ask for help there and get support from each other and from us and from our partners if necessary. We also publish an upcoming event slide as a Google slide every 2 weeks, and so meetup organizers can use that in their events to point their audiences at other events they might be interested in, to try and cross promote what's going on in the city and help these events find a bigger audience. There's a whole set of things that we do just to make it easier for people to run tech events in the city. Careers. Again, the main thing here is our job board. So our company members advertise open positions on our job board, and it's one of the most most visited pages on our website. But we also run a mentorship scheme for individual members, for startup members, and for micro business members. And this mentorship scheme pairs people with mentors for 6 months, and that's a managed process. And we've had a lot of success, particularly for people getting into the industry for the first time, but also for developing their startups or their propositions. We also do interviews with professionals that we publish on YouTube for schools and colleges to use to explain to their pupils and students what kind of jobs are available in the tech industry and how to get into them. And we work with the career services at the universities and at the college, and also at some of the schools, to promote local employers and get more engagement. And we also provide professional services through our sponsors, who provide free and discounted service to our members. We provide publicity. We have several directories, companies, freelancers, meetups, and event venue directories, where people can promote what it is that they do. And people can go, if they're looking for a partner or particular specialism, they can look in the directories to see if there's someone local who can provide that. We also provide spotlight pages highlighting member businesses' services, and we do showcase events. So we give people a platform to present about their business or a new product, or interesting things that people are building, whoever that is in the ecosystem. And then on top of that, of course, we really amplify. So if our members want to be messages to be heard more broadly, we can amplify those messages. Obviously, we can get things into the newsletter, but also on social media, we can amplify the things that they're trying to communicate. Policy. We also work with ecosystem partners. Those are the universities, Business Sheffield, Sheffield Technology Parks, the college, as well as Tech SY and SIMCA. And we're also members of the UK Tech Cluster Group, which is the national umbrella for ecosystem organizations across the UK. And we attend important meetings and fora where we can talk to policymakers and help shape local, regional, and national digital policy. We also host policy roundtables after each national budget, where we bring usually about 20 national, local, and regional policy makers and businesses together in the same room for 2 hours to debate policy issues. These are excellent fora if you're interested, or if there's policy or legislation that is being written that affects your business. This is a great forum to express and explain the impact of some of these policies. We also produce business intelligence that helps inform policy, such as the annual digital skills audit that we do with Sheffield Hallam, as well as other data that we provide to help policymakers understand the local ecosystem better. And then finally, we're also super connectors. So we make introductions. This is probably the most valuable and important thing we do. It's a way for people to find what they need from the ecosystem, whatever that is. So whether it's a company that provides a particular service, a co-founder for a startup, a speaker for an event, a specific piece of knowledge or experience, there's a very good chance that we already know who to talk to. So if you ask us on Slack or on social media or by email, we can point you in the right direction. Or by all means, just come down to a Geek Brekkie on a Friday morning if you need support, and you'll not just get support from me or any of my colleagues that are there, but also from other community members that are well connected and networked within the tech ecosystem as well. So those are our 9 services, which is a lot. I mean, it's a lot of things that we do. And most of these are available to everybody, not just our membership. But there are within this certain things that you have to be a member to access. And this is a list of them. So the job board, the company directory, spotlight articles, and the policy roundtables, they're exclusive to company members. Mentoring is exclusive. So company members of any tier any size. Mentoring is exclusive to individual startup and micro business members. The senior leaders dinner and AGM are exclusive to members, sponsors, and partners. Although we do invite non-members occasionally, so they can get a view of what's happening, particularly at the AGM, which is next week, if you're not unaware. The sponsor surgeries are exclusive to startup, micro, and small company members. And then on top of that, we also provide local discounts occasionally to individual members and freelancers. Every individual member, for example, gets a 10% discount at iRepair Stop on Ecclesall Road for any of their Apple repairs. We also provide discounts on tickets to certain events as well. This is the most important thing to understand. We're not like other initiatives. We're not dependent on public sector funding. We don't have to evidence job creation or advocate for follow-on funding all the time. We're also not trying to monetize our membership and capitalize on support and investments. Instead, we're trying to pool resources to create an operating system for the local tech industry and its communities. So we are entirely reliant on companies paying for memberships. We get a little bit of money from our partners and a little bit of money from our sponsors. And the money we get from our individual members pays for the mentorship scheme specifically. But really, we're reliant on companies paying us an annual or monthly membership fee in order for us to be able to do all of this stuff that benefits everybody. We think this is the best, most cost-effective, sustainable, and impactful way to invest in the local digital tech and media ecosystem. Take a look at the company membership by going to Sheffield Digital/membership. I'd like to thank you all for that slightly longer than anticipated pitch. But also, I want to now open up for questions with my colleague Mel and ask Mel how she thinks that companies can best take advantage, not just of membership, but of their engagement with Sheffield Digital generally.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar faces here and some people I don't know. I think there are lots of ways that as a company you can take advantage of Sheffield Digital. If you're a company member, or if you become a company member, the first thing I would recommend is that you make sure that your listing on our directory is completely up to date, and you check it every so often and ask for updates if it needs updating. The way that directory works is it links to a big map on the website so people can actually find you. And because our website ranks very highly on search, it means that your presence in the directory can get boosted in that way. So I totally recommend that. The next thing is, one of the things that I think Sheffield Digital is really good at is we're really good at communicating, and we're really good at getting stories out, not just into the local arena, but onto platforms that go national. So if you've got news about your company, share it with us, and we can then share it on through our platforms. Similarly, particularly if you're on LinkedIn, if you see stuff that we're posting, please share that. Please, be part of this regular amplification, because it will be good for all of us, and it raises the profile of Sheffield as a tech cluster in the sort of general national consciousness and internationally too. So I recommend doing that. If you're a member, you can post your jobs on our website. And again, it's worth doing that just because it amplifies, because once you post a job on the website, we then share it through our socials, through LinkedIn, through the newsletter, and it becomes a virtuous circle, because then when we share it on LinkedIn, you can share it again, and it just expands and expands and expands the reach of your job adverts. And if you're a member, that's free for you to do. I know that it can be a really time-consuming thing, but I think it's an investment worth making, which is to say, think about ways that you can connect with education. So we are partners with both universities and the Sheffield College. We also have links into the University Technical Colleges, the UTCs in Sheffield. And we do also have connections with Barnsley College. So if you're looking a bit further afield, Barnsley is doing digital T-levels the same as Sheffield is. There are different ways that you can engage with education. It can be something really, really small, like just going in and spending an hour with a class, talking to them about your job and what you do and how you got into it, or setting a project or helping them with a project. Or you can engage more deeply. You can look at whether you can take an internship or a work placement, whether you can get involved in curriculum development, that kind of thing. But it's worth doing, because when you talk to students, you are also talking to their parents. And their parents might be potential customers for you, or their parents might be influencing their kids about what choices they make in terms of their careers. So it's not just a small thing that you're doing when you engage with education. There's also an opportunity for you to influence the way educators are thinking about what they're teaching and how they're teaching it. And if one of the problems that you have as a business is you can't find the right people to come into your business in order to help you to grow, then perhaps engaging with education a bit more can help. If you're not sure where to start with it, then come to us. Tell us what you're interested in doing, and we can put you in touch with the right people. So I recommend doing that. Please come to events, and not just the Sheffield Digital events, so like the AGM and the regular things that we might do, but go on the events calendar and look at all the different meetups that are happening. We have a new directory on our website for meetups, so you can go on there and see what they are and find out what might be right for you. Because going to events gives you a chance to meet peers, it gives you a chance to meet potential collaborators, and it gives you a chance to meet potential employees. And those personal relationships can be very, very beneficial and much warmer leads in rather than cold leads. And every time you come to an event, you're supporting that event, you're encouraging it to happen again. And that having a thriving event scene is one of the things that makes a tech cluster very vital and energetic. And Sheffield actually has a really good meetup scene, perhaps better than you would expect for a city of our size. Every so often, Sheffield Digital runs a campaign where we sort of do a deep dive into a particular topic. So for a couple of years, we focused in on talent and skills, and we did a lot of work there. And a lot of companies got involved with us and told us about what they were doing, shared best practice, and raised their profiles in that way. We'll be launching at the AGM a new campaign, which is going to be focused on artificial intelligence. And there will be lots of opportunities to engage with that. I'm not going to go into detail on that now, because either come along to the AGM to hear about it, or keep an eye on the website and newsletters and so on. There'll be lots to tell you about how you can get involved in that. But there will be lots of ways for you to raise the profile of what your company is doing about AI, or what you think about AI, and lots of different ways for you to do that. So keep an eye on those campaigns. If you have people working for you, and I think most of you do, then please encourage them to get involved as well. They can come to meetups as themselves. They can grow their skills through attending meetups. They can get involved in our mentoring scheme, either as a volunteer mentor or as a mentee, if they're looking to develop their skills. So if you're a company member, don't just pigeonhole it as being, oh, this is what it does for the company as an entity, but think about what that can do for all the people that work for your company. So the last thing I'd say about it is put a little bit of time in to your engagement with Sheffield Digital, particularly if you make the investment of becoming a company member, because that investment will pay back much more than you put in. And we've got lots of companies who can attest to that and say what that's done for them. Does that answer the question, Chris?
Fantastic. Yes, thanks very much. Excellent, Mel. And after talking at our audience for so long, we're going to open it up to questions. So thanks very much for paying attention. Goodbye, everybody who's watching this on YouTube. But has anybody got any questions for either me or Mel or both of us?